Cynthia Posey with the Louisiana Federation of Teachers. Do you wish to speak? You may proceed, Cynthia, and I apologize.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, committee. So we do have a white card in, and I want to make it clear that we are not opposed to the intent of the bill. We support fair and rigorous and efficient background checks. They are imperative to the safety of our children and really everybody in the schools. Rep. Freiberg did bring this bill last session, and we did have some discussion with the Department of Ed about it. And in that discussion, we asked, okay, well, what are the audit findings? And they were like, oh, well, we don't have the audit. It's like, oh, well, where is it? Who in the Department of Ed has it? And they were like, oh, well, they never sent it to us. And it's like, well, that's odd. So we, trying to understand what the audit said, we did a public records request. And so in the meantime, the bill was pulled and all that. So we did have a meeting with Ethan Malasaw and some other people from the Department of Ed with the stakeholders in January of this year. And I do have the presentation here. And there are, a couple of things that were concerning about it. First of all, when they talked about the practices in other states, it was from a 2016 USA Today article. And in talking to the Louisiana Association of Personnel Directors, they said, they were aware of this article, and most of the things in this had been fixed, that, it was kind of old information. And then one of the other things was they had 5 different options. And the first option was do not consider the audit findings. And so we were all kind of like, why would that even be an option? It was just very odd. But I think the most concerning was that in one of their slides, they said that they had not received the audits from the FBI or the Department of Ed. And so in going through our public records request, we did find where in the Louisiana 2020 Next Generation Identification Audit Findings and Response, they did say the Department of Education stated that they were not aware of this finding with their audit. LDOE stated without the information in the finding, they had no corrective action plan to provide at this time. The Bureau has forwarded them the information from our audit finding. So, and there was a lot of information in the public records request. I mean, even and a lot of it was obviously redacted, that's fine. But some of the things that were redacted were things that, this whole part that you can see, this was all redacted. A Google search pulled up this document. And so we were concerned about why maybe some of the things had been redacted when they were available online. And, we have had a lot of conversation with the Department of Ed. Thank you, Ethan. And we met the governor's office and state police, Department of Ed. We've met several times. And so in April, we did, the state police, apparently they sort of sent out a request to different states about how they handle it, because this is a nationwide issue. And so they received back a lot of information. And so it turns out that a lot of states handle it in different ways. And one of the reasons that we're faced with this is because of our statutes. We could change our laws to accommodate using one background check, but we're not doing that. And so the thing about it is that, we've asked, and the Department of Ed received these too. So we've asked, but it's just been set in stone. This is the way they want to do it. So I think that, and I do want to say, I spoke with the Louisiana Association of Personnel Directors. I spoke with their president this morning, and of course he's at school and couldn't come, but he has the same concerns we do, that this process in creating two new background checks, because Bessie, if you guys have to, you might have to do one if someone gets dinged or what have you.
If there was a review of their record.
So, but then adding, I think it was 180,000 from your presentation, even in 5 years, the Louisiana State Police is already backlogged. So what is this going to do? I mean, are we ever going to be able to get, I mean, this bill does nothing to help the state police. So our concern is that, you know, there could be a better way to do it. And then the implementation with the way the bill is written, it's just going to create a nightmare for school districts and everyone involved. And that's what Bruce Chafin of the Personnel Directors asked me to convey to you all. That, like us, they're not opposed to background checks, but to do it in a fair and efficient way is the important thing. So, you know, again, for 30 years, this has been happening. And, you know, they also stated in this document that, you know, the state police, the Department of Ed, they were unaware of it. So it's not the teacher's fault. Why are we putting this on the backs of the teachers? And in fact, in Texas, they actually use the fingerprints from 2015 on. So I don't think that we've explored all the avenues for this. And again, Rep. Freiberg, she's trying to correct a problem. She's to be commended. But I think that we really need to explore this a little bit further. Thank you.
Good. All right, I just got a call. Representative Mincy, you wish to speak on this bill? Yes, I mean, you can always speak. You don't have to fill out a card. Hold up before you do. Senator Jackson for a question. I'm sorry, Senator.
No problem. That was, I'm going to speak to everyone because I know what you're trying to fix a problem, but I do want to acknowledge this. Right now, this bill has no funding or anything for state police. As it stands, if a person doesn't drive from North Louisiana to receive a background check, and you send off for it, it takes 2 months or more. We've experienced it various times in my office, and that's just the reality.
I don't think there's any time restraint on this.
Well, it is for a teacher that's trying to get certified and trying to go through the process, and that's my concern. We are already facing, and you know, I know what you're trying to do, but I want to make the member aware of that we're already facing trying times with getting certified teachers or our recent graduates to stay in Louisiana. Under this bill, a person, a newly, you know, because if you're getting certified, basically you have not taught, right? Because certification is certification. You have to wait 2 to 3 months for a background check unless you drive the 3.5, if you're in Shreveport, 4.5 hours. You send it off in the mail. Right now at state police, they are backed up. It takes 2 to 3 months to get it. And then you have to wait on it before you can submit it to the Department of Education. So that is a concern.
And it would also affect the locals trying to get a new teacher certified also.
Right, and that's my only issue is that we have no funding to not correct the issue, because I'm not saying it's an issue, they're just getting a large amount of background check requests. Without increasing that staff, any new teacher who's trying to get certified and work, say they're graduating in May, right? People are hiring. They sent out for a background check in May. They're waiting 2 months. We're at the end of July. School starts in August. Everyone's hired. I can see this being a logistical nightmare unless people are willing to drive to Baton Rouge. That's kind of somewhat, you know, onerous on new graduates.
And Senator Jackson, I just want to make sure that I clarify again. I did not want to have to ask this bill to be heard in this committee. I promise you. We received an audit finding, and that redacted copy that Ms. Posey shared with you was what I saw as well, was a heavily redacted copy until our legal counsel got the full audit. We only were allowed to see our portion. It wasn't a full audit on just the Department of Education. This was an FBI audit on multiple agencies as well, not just us. So I wanted to make sure that that was shared with you. Also, yes, we did have options in there because we were trying to work with stakeholders across the board on this. But what we came down with is we worked with Louisiana State Police and the FBI on this, and this is what they're telling us we need to do.
Did they give us a time deadline to do it?
Yeah, we were supposed to do it last year, and they were going to give us one more shot with y'all this year until... I mean, state police is the one that's allowing us to get the rap backs from the locals. Whenever they are ready to turn the spigot off to allow us to continue doing certifications, and I'm not here to speak for them, they're not here.
Okay, so is it a state police issue or FBI issue why we can't take it from locals?
It's a FBI issue. State police controls how we get those criminal background checks. So our state law is what the FBI is saying is out of regulation.
So we could have changed the state law and not require each teachers to get a state background check.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we also have laws on certification where only certain people can be certified who don't have certain criminal histories. So to find out if they have those criminal histories, we have to do a criminal background check.
I get it.
Yeah.
I guess I may be missing what you're saying. You're saying state police or state law controls how you get the background check.
The request of the background check. Right now, we have no power to request the background check.
So couldn't we just tweak the law and let you request a background check from the locals?
No, because the FBI is saying we're using the local issue for two purposes. That's what we're currently doing.
So if we tweak the law, you could request a background check.
We
from
could
the state
request
police.
one, but it could not be from the locals. It would have
It could
to
be from
the
state
teacher.
police.
Yes.
So why don't we just tweak the law instead of passing on costs to new teachers in our state who we're trying to keep?
Well, we would have to process those at the certification level. It's a mess. I promise you. I know it's a mess. I'm sitting here saying it's a mess.
So
It's not
how
something
are
I
you-
wanted to do.
How are you going to deal with teachers who are graduating in May? Let me take it back to the December graduation. Someone in elementary education is graduating in December. He or she can't request that background check until it's time to apply. You're 2 months, backlog with the state police on getting a background check. No way that person's ready to teach in the spring. Same thing if someone graduates in May. You're 2 or 3 months backlog. We're all sitting acknowledging the backlog, but creating a problem. And I know that's not what the member's trying to do. I work with her all the time, right? But we're creating a problem to even get for local schools to get their certified teachers in, which is we're demanding of them.
And I can't answer for state police and their backlog.
But you can acknowledge it.
Yes, definitely. There
yes.
is. I acknowledge that. We know that.
So this bill is going to fix one problem and create another one that we've been trying to fix for years, and that's retaining certified teachers in our state. Because what happens is when a teacher can't get certified enough time here, they're going somewhere else where they can make their money. Yeah, I would just request, Mr. Chairman, and I'm on the record now, if the member would defer the bill for at least a week so we can try to figure out a better way to do this without jamming up teachers from being certified.
It still has to go
time
through
limit.
finance. So if we were to defer it a week, this bill's all about debt. Almost
wow.
dead.
Okay, I understand. I
That's why
I want us to acknowledge that we're creating a problem to certifying teachers in our state.
Yes, ma'am. And I really wish Louisiana State Police were here. They've been here every other meeting to help explain this issue with me, and I don't see them here today. So
And I do want to say that part of our issue is that, you can clearly fix it. Florida and Texas have a way around this. So, and then our other concern is, again, in January of 2021, this is what we were given. The LDOE received no audit findings directly from the FBI. When you have it from the response from the state police, and I believe this was in January of 2020, that the Bureau did send it to the
What did
LDOE.
Florida and Texas do? How are they doing it? That may help us come up with a remedy in this bill.
Would ask me to read this very small. So, under Florida statute, we conduct a criminal history records check for dual purpose, which is specific to the teacher certification and instructional personnel. This means if a teacher is being screened for a certification and also knows which school they are applying for, they must screen under this state authority. The teacher certification and instructional personnel are handled in the same manner.
I would ask lady from the House to look at how Florida and Texas does it from now, if the bill comes out from now to finance, to try to put it in uniformity with that.
Okay. Has the gentlelady concluded?
Yes.
All right, Senator Mills.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And not knowing that Representative Freiberg was working on this, I authored a Senate Bill 492 trying to do the same thing. Everybody that's spoken is correct. It's a mess. And I got told, no, you can't do that so many times. I thought I was back in grade school. There's an impossible vicious cycle going between these agencies, and it's got to get fixed somehow. And I'm rooting for you because I've given up. I parked mine. So I want you to keep moving. I think that's a good comment from Senator Jackson. But let's try to get something this year. It's a disaster. It needs fixing.
And Miss Posey knows I am always open to working on these things. I've been very open with her. We have very open dialogue. We're trying to find a problem. I have literally said, if we can find a solution for this,
But they're not
please
looking
tell
for
me.
a solution. That's the problem.